Okay, I got a couple of technical difficulties here. I'm not sure. Yeah, here we go. There you go. Okay, great. So, hello everyone. My name is Christian Karasevich. I just want to say a quick hello. We've got a great show for you this week. We've got Anh Nguyen on. She was supposed to be on a few weeks ago. We ran into some technical difficulties, but we have her back on. So let me first though introduce Phil Gerbershak. So Phil should be coming up here shortly.
Whoop,
Hey
whoop.
Phil, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
Doing?
How you doing, man? It's great to see you again, Christian.
Good to see you as well. How's everything?
Spectacular, man. Got trapped in a couple longer things, but I am here and ready to kick some social chatter butt.
So who do we have this week on the show? Episode 133.
Holy crap, man. Well, tonight, amazing guest, right? We get to have Anh Nguyen, which I got to tell you, man, there's a lot of people that are wicked smart, but Anh is one of the best B2B marketing strategists that I know. She's ranked number 3 in Houston's top 25 social media influencers. She's smart. She's funny. She's got a little snark to her. And I got to tell you, man, she loves memes on LinkedIn. So I can't wait to talk about that tonight.
And everybody, and this is going to be a great show. I mean, I've heard a lot about Anh. She runs mobile chat, doesn't she?
She does. Yeah, she rocks the mobile chat. She does a lot of cool stuff, right? She's involved in all the social media happenings around Houston. She runs mobile chat, which is fantastic. And as I said, man, she's going to give us some sass tonight, Christian. So we're going to have to keep up.
Definitely. Let's bring her on. And let's get the show going because we've got a lot of really good topics that I want to I want us to do enough of a deep dive on. So,
absolutely.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
I think she's talking to you, Christian. She said gentlemen. She's clearly not talking to me.
Oh, Phil, you made me laugh when you made that LinkedIn comment. I was waiting for it. I was just waiting for you to say something about LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, Christian mentioned that we want to spend the whole hour talking about how to be unprofessional on LinkedIn. So, because I know how important that is to you, Anh.
So, Phil, if Christian doesn't know this background, Phil and I have had several lively discussions, shall we call it that, because I prefer people to be a little more professional on LinkedIn because it is, after all, a professional networking platform. I get it. You want to be personable, but there's no need for Facebook-like memes or any of those things on LinkedIn. And so,
she pronounced bottles of wine wrong there, Christian. What she really meant to say is we've had many bottles of wine together, which led to conversations, right? You keep pronouncing that wrong, man. I don't know what the deal is.
We have had bottles of wine together, and I miss you and Brandy quite a bit. So I have to make my way back to Tampa as soon.
Yes, we miss you too. And Christian, buddy, pal, you got to come to Tampa, man. This is where the wine happens.
Definitely, I'll have to make a trip there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
So, what do we have for this week? Where do you want to start? We have, we've talked about so many different things, but
come on, man, we got to start with LinkedIn video.
Okay,
please,
let's do it.
Please, LinkedIn video.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's start with that. I was super excited to hear about LinkedIn videos being available for the pages because I'm a B2B marketer and I know the power of video, and for individual members, we've had it, but now to be able to have it on the pages, I can't wait to try it out. I just referred or recommended it to one of my clients today, so I'm excited to try it out.
Awesome. So, do you use it personally, Anh? Are you using it for your personal profile? Are you having your customers use it for their personal profiles, or is this just it's good for pages, but not for me, Anh Nguyen?
Oh, no, I love video. But the funny thing is, it's funny you should say that. Video was not available for everybody right away. They rolled it out, and I finally was able to get it on my, I guess it's only on your mobile app. It's not on the desktop yet. But I have not tried it yet, believe it or not. I've done a ton of live streaming and video on Facebook and things like that, but I've not tried it on LinkedIn yet. But I do know the value of it for my clients. And so that's why I'm super excited that it's going to be available on the pages.
So you really don't have it on your own profile? Man, LinkedIn, if you're listening, Jeff Weiner, Ann Nguyen needs video, baby. Hook her up. I mean, Ann is she's a B2B marketer, man. If Wiener Sausage, if you're listening, you got to hook Ann up because she needs it. So, Ann, I've got it on the desktop. I've got it on the mobile. I can do it between the legs, around the back. I can even do the yo-yo around the world. What is going on, Ann?
That's because you're, special LinkedIn Phil Gerbershak, man. I mean, that's
your quotes. Air quotes, special, short bus, Phil Gerbershak. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So I'm going to take Jeff Wiener tonight that says Ann Nguyen needs video. Christian, you got video, brother?
I don't have video yet. Not yet.
See, Christian needs it too. Come on, Phil.
Right.
Hook your friends up, man. Hook your friends up.
Done. It is so done. It is on like Donkey Kong. We're going to get you video because I got video. I shot one today, actually. If you go to look at my LinkedIn profile, you're going to see a video today. And I think this is how companies should approach it. Pick someone you want to now and then be your voice and let them go, right? Give them some passion. Give them some juice, right? Don't make them milquetoast like me. Give them some energy. What do you think?
You don't have any energy?
All right, I do.
That's an understatement. That's actually a very false statement that you don't have any energy.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? So it doesn't have to be with everybody. That's the cool thing. Give it to Ann, give it to Christian, but maybe Skippy over here, who's really shy and works in accounting, maybe Skippy's accounting insights aren't what we need on our LinkedIn channel.
Well, I think it gives it a chance to, we talk about brands humanizing themselves and being more human, one of Phil's favorite topics. It gives them a chance to do so with video. It gives them a chance to highlight, say, a star employee or have someone talk about their culture, where it's not the marketing talking heads, like me, who's out there putting out the collateral and marketing information and things like that. You have actual employees talking from the heart. So here's your opportunity to do so with video.
Absolutely. Yeah. Give us your energy. Give us your stories. Tell us about your failures, not just your successes.
Absolutely.
And I think that these are two great features that they're rolling out. I mean, the whole sponsored content for video for sponsored content, but the whole company pages piece. I mean, I like the fact that I actually kind of want to say they maybe should have it almost like a level up type thing to where, you roll it out to everybody, for instance, at first. I think what you may end up coming across with is you'll have people that will never use it and they're already confused by too many options, and then give it to, maybe some, then roll it out to certain people or in this case, certain brands. I think that it makes a lot of sense to let them kind of have things as you start to see their content being something that they kind of grow with, if that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the fact that their sponsored content video, from what I read, it sounds like it's not going to be a pre-roll video roll or post-roll. It's going to look like you posted this video, but it's sponsored content. So I really like that fact. And so people may not realize it's an ad right away. And especially if they have really great video content that's, something that's compelling that makes people want to watch, and people don't realize it's an ad or sponsored content.
So is it bad though that most people that aren't marketers most people don't understand it's an ad, period. You could say, whoop, whoop, this is an ad, and it doesn't matter. I mean, is that a problem? Do we really need to disclose? I mean, not saying we shouldn't disclose, but really, what's the difference, right? What's the difference between, yes, this is a sponsored content, and no, this is just Phil going about his day?
Well, I don't think that for the consumer or who the audience is for the video, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But you're right, for us marketers, it's sponsored content. We have to disclose. There are certain guidelines, things like that. The FTC, just little organizations like that require us to disclose things that are sponsored. But again, if you make this video like a story that is compelling, people aren't going to realize it's an ad. They're not going to care that it's an ad. It's a story they want to watch from beginning to end. And guess what? You just ingrained your brand into their mind because of this great story.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? Tell me a story, make me feel an emotion, and then drive me to action. Doesn't seem that hard, but it's hard if your brand is, some heavy duty equipment manufacturer where you have to really get into the story and align your story with your customer journey. I don't know, Christian, what about you, man? What are you seeing? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, you know, and this is a good question. I mean, I'm thinking that like if somebody is like, if they're just like kind of experience a brand for the first time, I think that it's going to be a little weird going in there and all of a sudden they're seeing, you know, for instance, a video from this brand that really doesn't make, like, they don't understand the customer journey. So I'm actually wondering, like, you know, maybe there's like, I kind of actually wish there was a sequence that somebody could say, hey, you know what, I'm going to create a 5-part video series and I'm going to bring you in at, you know, almost like an email like funnel, for instance. I'm going to bring you in at the top and walk you through video 1 and then video 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Like start somebody on the sequence with that versus like, hey, let me just all of a sudden, you just connect with my brand today. Hey, I got a conference coming up and I want you to attend that conference. I kind of wish that, you know, that we kind of think like that maybe.
You may be able to do something like that because from what I understand, you're able to target who views it. And so you may be able to do, it's not going to be as targeted or segmented as say an email, you know, funnel, but you may be able to apply some of that there because of the targeting capabilities.
Oh, and I think you're right on. And I think it's even better than an email because I can see exactly how long Christian watched that video. And if he watched more than 15 seconds, right, of LinkedIn native video, I can say, then give him video 2. And if not, give him video 2B, which then picks up at second 15 because it's all native to the platform. And we know our customers much better than, hey, I know that Phil likes lace underwear on his head, right? I mean, way better opportunity.
I'm going to ask Brady about that one, Phil.
All right. Share that out loud again. I need to keep that in my head. But right, I mean, that's the thing. That's the difference between LinkedIn and Facebook is I know your business as opposed to I just know about you. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
So if I'm a small business, how can I tap into this? What can I like? What do I need to do, I guess?
I think you can. It's going to be, and you'll have to pardon me because, you know, I'm so steeped in the B2B world. Small business, there's a lot of the same, I guess, tenets. Things will work, but then again, a lot will not because it's more business to consumer typically when you're talking about a small business because they're smaller, you know, mom and pop stores, things like that. So they can tap in it because they even if it's a small business or a business to consumer, there's still a story to tell about their business. There's a story to tell about their widgets or products. And I think really with a small business too, you've got that background of why did John start this business, right? Usually I'll ask and I hear this great story. So there's a great story to be told right there. And then people can connect with, oh, John started this business because he couldn't find a suitable solution for his mom that he needed to take care of. And here he is making this widget that helps seniors across the country. So there's that opportunity for sure.
I love that idea. Yeah, I was just going to say, the difference in a small business is they don't need the company page because, frankly, if I think about your business, Ann, and you know I love you, but I have no idea what your business is called, nor do I care. I'm going to do business with
because I'm the brand. Yes.
Well, that's it, right? So in many small businesses, you know, same way, right? I'm going to connect with the person more than I'm going to connect with the brand. So in a good way, I think we can then transition that and sometimes in some ways repeat that as, hey, it's Christian's business, and therefore here's a video about Christian. And now they're way more congruent than once they were. So that sponsored content, Christian, if you would be brave enough to not hide behind your corporate brand, and I don't mean hide in a bad way. I mean hide in the fact that, right, I'm wearing the corporate shirt and look at my logo, right? I think you have an opportunity to be way more personal, just as you, and then translate that to the brand page, which frankly, it has not gone that way with Facebook. I mean, Facebook, I really feel, has been so like, personally, I'm really hip, but corporately, sometimes I feel like a little bit stiff because I don't get any engagement. And I'm hopeful that LinkedIn allows us to prioritize this to your point about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my sequence so that it makes a lot more sense if, and this is a big if businesses are willing to pay for the right for a great customer experience.
Yes. Yes. And I completely agree with you on the customer experience thing. And historically, B2B has always been kind of played it safe or boring, if you will, and especially when it comes to social media, because they are hiding behind that logo and they have all these fears and concerns of, oh, well, how are we going to be seen by our clients and our prospective clients? And so there are still a lot of challenges in getting B2B execs in the C-suite to understand that video can work, social media can work. So there's a lot of hurdles still to overcome.
Yeah, I totally agree, Ann. I see that. I think it's interesting that the bigger brands are more afraid of letting go of their logo than the little brands, because it's like they've invested all this equity, when in reality, I mean, come on. I'm looking at Pepsi because I like the little dealer down the street, and he's dealing my drugs to me in a nice way, right? I mean, really, they're stupid. I want to teach the world to sing. That's dumb. Oh, wait, that's Coca-Cola, right? I don't even care. I don't even care, right? I want to see the local dealer that is talking to me about how, he's got this. And so I think it's interesting. If we make this a more localized approach, more localized storytelling, we're going to see a lot more effectiveness, especially on LinkedIn. I don't know.
Yes, and I agree with you there, using the word localized, because that's what we talk about, right? Making it much more personalized, personable, enhancing that customer experience. And I think localizing it is part of that enhancement and making it more personalized.
Yep. And relevance, right? Relevance.
Yes. It's funny because my sister and I just saw this ad the other day on TV, and it was cool. All these people were singing little snippets of a popular song. We had no idea what the ad was for. Even after the logo came up, we still had no idea what connection that was with this particular brand. And to tell you, I don't even remember what that brand is now.
So, but that's the thing, right? If we don't see a human, it's easy to remember Anh Nguyen, but it's really hard to remember, Flibbity Gibbet Co. So, we need to focus on the people, because the people are who I'm going to give a crap about. I don't know. What do you think?
And I agree with you. And I'm glad that you said that about you weren't even sure what the name of my business was or what I did. Well, I hope you know that I'm a marketer.
I know what you do. No, I know what you do, dear, but I don't have a clue, nor do I care what your business is, because I'm going to refer business to my friend Anh Nguyen, who I know is kick-ass.
And I'm glad you said that, because I've done that very purposefully, that I am the brand. People work with me regardless of what it is. And so I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Absolutely.
You guys want to move on to the next topic, or do we want to stick with this one?
No, we can move on.
It's good. Yeah, let's move on. Let's go to memes. What do you think, Christian? Or is that not the next topic?
I don't remember that being in the topic.
I know. That was a special secret sauce just for me to you, Ann.
Yes.
Love you, Phil. Mwah.
Love you too. No, Christian, what we got next, buddy?
Let's see. We have LinkedIn. Let's talk about Facebook partner categories and limiting data access, because I think that actually is going to be a big topic, actually. And Ann and I actually were just chatting about this earlier, about how certain things on Facebook were being limited, and she was kind of hit with that issue. So basically, what we have here is, again, in the wake of Cambridge Analytica, all this stuff over the past few weeks here, Facebook is they're starting to tighten controls on a lot of things, and I think this is a good thing. I think in the interim period, it's not necessarily a good thing, but so what they're doing here is they're closing down partner categories for Facebook ads. And then they're limiting access to their to data that you can collect or that you can get access to. And this doesn't just apply to Facebook data; this also applies to LinkedIn data as well. Or sorry, the Instagram data that they give you access to.
Yeah,
so
developers are like freaking out over the API limitations. It used to be 5,000 calls an hour; now it's 200. That's a fraction of what they were able to do.
Absolutely. And, and here's the thing. A lot of people, they hear API and they hear, developers, and what do they start thinking? They're like, hey, I'm not a programmer. It's not going to affect me. But guess what? It will affect you, because all of the tools that you're using are accessing this. And it doesn't matter if it's an official tool that like a company like Agorapulse or Buffer or Hootsuite, have built, or, if it's a tool that Facebook, or the Instagram, for instance, doesn't, that's kind of built under the radar. It doesn't matter which tool it is. They're all going to be hit by this. And who's going to ultimately be affected? The user. So this is a pretty big issue. What do you guys think? Phil, what do you think about this one?
Well, so first of all, keep in mind, native Facebook is still where it's at. Every third-party tool is going to be banged in the head with, no, you can't have this. What it's going to do is it's going to make these companies pay more to get the same level of access they had, just like Twitter did with their API, just like LinkedIn did with their API. They're going to make these advertisers pay more because ultimately, let's just be honest. If Facebook didn't have advertising, Facebook wouldn't exist. So while they're peeling this away for now, trying to pretend and deflect that this wasn't my fault, bullshit. This was your problem. This was you who gave people access, who didn't monitor access, who let people do things way longer than they should have and didn't expire keys. Shame on you, Facebook. And now you think you're going to hurt our advertising? You know what? I tell you, if we're still targeted and we still know our market, I can't do 74 experimentations, but to go from 2 to 10% conversion, 10 to 20%, I just need to know who my audience is, and that retargeting pixel is going to be enough for me.
It's not, and I, people have asked me about this, and I'm like, okay. Again, as a marketer, I know they're scraping data. They've been scraping data from the beginning. But as the regular, everyday consumer user, you may not realize this. All those little games you play and those little quizzes you answer, and that's all data that you have just willingly provided. And, I play those games periodically, but I also know to go in and delete all those apps as well and clean up my apps. So I'm constantly advising the normal personal user to do this. And yes, it is going to affect your user. And while they have these native tools, native Facebook Live does not allow you to do this where you can have a conversation with 2 other people yet. Yeah, you can have a conversation with another person, I think. Angelica and I tried this with the Happy Hour. It did not work well. Be Live works way much better, or any other platform that's like Be Live. And so if Facebook wants to keep us using them natively and not using these third-party applications that can possibly scrape the data, then they need to step up and add these features. Because if these other third-party providers are able to do this, then why isn't Facebook able to do this? I'm sure they're able to. They just have other priorities. Yeah,
I think it's all a big ruse.
I was going to say, so last week, actually, Phil, we talked about YouTube. I think it was last week. We talked about YouTube and how they were actually changing up how YouTube Live worked. How you didn't have to have, speaking of Be Live, you didn't have to use YouTube encoders, didn't have to have all this fancy hardware to be able to go live. That's the direction they're trending. It used to be, you had to have all this, and now, you don't have to have it. I think they're kind of a step ahead of Facebook here in the fact that, they're giving people, they're giving them what they need so they will stay on the platform and use YouTube, for instance, and not use like a Wirecast or something like that to be able to broadcast. So definitely think that, Facebook needs to step on that. I mean, that's partly why, I got into live video. This was back in Blab days. I got into live video because, it was a better experience. It was much easier to do. And it's not about let me take the path of least resistance. It's video. It's complicated typically because you have to have hardware that can support all this stuff. And if there's a company that's already providing something like that, implement it. I mean, that's what people are going to use. So
exactly.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying exactly. That's why I like using Be Live, because I don't have to know all this extra technical code stuff. I'm not a developer. I know enough to get myself into trouble, but I want it to be an easy, user-friendly. Yes, I've broken websites before. I want it. I need it to be a user-friendly platform that I can just click and go. And Be Live is absolutely that. And I don't understand why Facebook couldn't do that natively.
Absolutely. By the way, Ann, you've got a couple of fans here. We've got Mia Voss joining us tonight. They're saying, love me some Ann Nguyen. So this is lots of Ann fans.
Aw.
Yeah, hashtag Ann fan. Yep, that's us, Christian. We're Ann fans. We just happen to be here.
What is it? So, hashtag all Ann all the time? Is that what you said?
All Ann all the time. You got it. And win 24/7, 365.
Right.
So if you actually wanted to I was gonna say, if you want to create your own show or an additional show, you could actually come up with one like that and have a really good hashtag, I think.
That's it.
When Phil came out with that hashtag, I told him I was just going to take it as a compliment, because as he mentioned to you earlier, I am a little bit snarky, sometimes a lot snarky, but I am yes, I'm me all the time. There's no facade. When you meet me in real life, this is me, right, Phil?
Absolutely. That's why I love you, Ann. You know that. So what you see is what you get. Wicked smart, a little bit of snark, sometimes a little more snark. Depends how much wine we pour in her. That is very true.
Or vodka.
But that's good. It's good though to have personality when you're, on, for instance, video or in person or whatever, because here's the thing, that's what brings people, to want to come and learn from you, or it makes them want to learn more about your brand. I mean, if you're a fun brand, I mean, you could, you have to have personality. It doesn't matter, really what industry you're in, you need to have some sort of excitement. Why do people want to come to you versus, somebody else? So.
Exactly. There's got to be something that draws people to you, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So Phil, okay. So what else do you want to discuss on this topic? For instance, I mean, we've got the Facebook side.
Yeah, I just, let's flip over to the Instagram side, right? Because I think it's important, right? So many people, first of all, don't realize Facebook and Instagram live in the same house.
And WhatsApp.
Right, and WhatsApp,
yeah,
right?
And
so,
WhatsApp. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's school the Elon Musks of the world who delete their Facebook pages and stay on Instagram. Listen, poser, PR little fiascos here like this, trying to get more press. Elon, buddy, call me. I'll help you get all the press you want. But stop with the BS of, I'm leaving Facebook because of Cambridge Analytica. No, you're not. You're not leaving Facebook because of that. You're just going to shift your advertising over to Instagram and make it look like you're some forlorn soul. Get a grip, dude.
And you got Playboy. Playboy also left Facebook. They shut their Facebook page down of like 25 million. I'm not sure if they kept their Instagram channel, but they released a public statement and they had a whole, a nice little image that they created. This doesn't align with our values, that sort of thing. But
they're not NSFW. They're not safe for work anyway. Let's be honest. They are constantly in violation of Facebook's policies anyway. So the fact that they leave now, they finally had a tipping point that says now we can leave without pretending like, without saying that we're leaving because of their arcane policies. I mean, seriously, if I show you my nipple, this is now going to be rated X. Give me a frickin' break. And now Ann is afraid because she's seen my nipple. So let's not talk about that.
No, Ann's not seen that yet. Ann doesn't want to see that.
Phil after dark. Yeah, we don't want to see that. That's a good point.
So before we move to the Instagram part, so Ann, so I know we know that Facebook's closing partner categories, so that's going to cut off some data access. Yeah. And I'm saying this because I don't want businesses to freak out, who are watching. Because again, this is a show to help businesses. So I don't, don't freak out about the fact that hey, you want to go run a Facebook ad and certain features aren't there that were previously there. Facebook, they have to do damage control in a way. And some of that is going to be tightening things, removing things, to where you come back and, you have to find a different way to do something, hopefully temporarily. The other part is the whole, limiting access to data. You shared a story with me earlier before we started. Can you just tell people that are watching, just quickly about that so that they can understand what Facebook's cutting off here necessarily?
Yeah, sure. So My co-host Angelica and I also host a live streaming show called Appy Hour, but kind of based off of our mobile chat. And we do it from our mobile chat group because that's where it's relevant. And so today I went to schedule the show because it's normally on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And all of a sudden I get this lovely message that says, due to Facebook API restrictions, blah, 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 we're not able to schedule any broadcasts or have any broadcasts in group pages currently, which is fine. I get it. It's not their fault that Facebook is doing this. What I was not happy about was the lack of communication from BeLive to their users about it. There were no emails. I checked with Angelica because she has a BeLive account as well. She had not received an email. I checked with Rachel Moore, who is a BeLive ambassador and heavy user. And she said, well, you're right. There's not been an email. And they posted information in the user group on Facebook. Well, I'm not a member of that group for whatever reason, so I didn't see it. And so that was the part I wasn't super happy about. But back to our point, the topic at hand is that's affecting how I do business and what I do on a normal basis because of these restrictions for Facebook. And so what do I need to do from now on? I mean, I know you can still do it on your business page, on your regular personal timeline, but we did this show in our chat group for a specific reason because that's relevant to that specific group and that audience. So what do I do? What do I do now?
Well, so that's a good question. I think part of the problem, one, is, I don't blame BeLive. I blame Facebook for deciding spur of the moment, right? I mean, just to be really clear here, I think it sucks that Facebook makes decisions like this, right? That's just crap. That's so lame that you're just a megalithic company, and you can't give us more notice. I mean, seriously, you suck when you do that. You're just making us not like you. Now, maybe you want more negative press to draw away from the fact that you screwed us with Cambridge Analytica, but seriously, give us some notice when you change the API, because you know what, Ann? While this sucks for us, I want you to think about our friends, the developers, who have developed programs that Facebook has basically stamped and said, yep, you can do this, that in a snap of the finger said, screw you, you don't get to work anymore. I can only imagine how our developer friends at BeLive are feeling because of the screw job that Facebook put in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're scrambling. And the message they sent out pretty much said so, that the developers are working round the clock to figure this out, and they're working with the Facebook developers. But I don't get it, right? Because in order to be in a group, you have to opt in. Yes, people can add you, but you can also leave. But you pretty much are there willingly. So it's not... again, I feel like they've overstepped their bounds here. I get that they're afraid of what's happened with Cambridge recently and the whole data. You can't even call it a breach because nobody got breached. They willingly gave it to them. Because of us finding out about all of our data going out there. I get the concerns, but why are you going to then, I guess, penalize, right, a group who are using this? If that's the case, then why are you not worried about a business page using the API or using BeLive or my personal timeline? It's still the same. It's almost like they're being selectively contrary.
Oh, yeah, purposely. They're trying to confuse us. They're trying to get us fired up. They're trying to get us to talk about them. They're trying to get us to push to the page. They're trying to get our money. I mean, every time these companies make an API change, it's never for our benefit. That's the sad part. I mean, truly, never, ever for our benefit. It is always for the benefit of the platform. So, and I get it, right? If we're not paying for the platform, I don't pay for Facebook. All right, I'm the product. I get that. But seriously, please stop screwing us, Facebook and Instagram. Just stop.
But that begs the question then, it's with that delete Facebook movement, right? I mean, if you're tired of this, are you really going to truly leave?
I'm not going to leave. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
I'm not leaving because it's part of my business, so I have to be here. But I also, enjoy being on Facebook. I use Facebook very much more for my personal than I do my business side of it. But so when people talk about leaving, like Elon, who did, but then still uses Instagram. And somebody else posted, one of my personal friends posted the very similar thing this morning too. I'm leaving Facebook because of all this stuff, but they're still using Instagram. And I wanted to go, really? But I didn't. I just left it alone and moved on, because you can do that. You don't have to respond to every post.
Oh, come on. I think we should publicly shame everybody who really thinks that they're leaving Facebook by going into Instagram. I mean, we should call them out right here on the show. Christian, you go first. I mean, really, come on. Really, though, that's the problem. So I posted this, I think last night or the night before, where I see these idiots who are saying, I'm going to leave Apple from their iPhone. Right? Shut up. Like, stop, okay? That's like a celebrity saying they're going to move to Canada because Trump got elected. You're not. Shut up. Just stop your whining and your posturing and just be honest. You might be pissed off. That's cool. Be pissed off. But be honest. You're not moving anywhere. You're not going to leave Facebook. You're not going to stop with the Android. If you're an Android lover, you're not going to stop. If you're an Apple person, just say, I'm pissed off. And that's cool. But don't lie and say, I'm going to move. You're an idiot. Shut up.
You're pissed off, move on. And back to what Christian was saying earlier about how is this going to affect businesses. I don't know that it will, except that they're now fearful. And it was kind of like the changes a few weeks ago or whenever it was about the algorithm, and the sky was falling, basically.
Oh,
it was ridiculous.
Don't get me started on that, because I feel bad. I will say this: I feel bad for businesses. I feel bad, for a lot of businesses that are that get tricked, basically. Because there's a lot of actually pretty big companies that they basically use it to create that fear, and then say, hey, come attend our conference or whatever, or our event or our workshop. And I'm like, you don't need to. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not the point where you have to spend however much it is to go to a workshop to learn what to do differently, because all they're going to tell you is this. They're going to tell you, and we've been saying this for years, community. It's about building a tribe of people, and it doesn't matter what happens on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Snapchat, on Pinterest. It doesn't matter what happens. If you build a community, those people will stick with you. It's like brands. I mean, Apple, for instance, iPhone, for instance, they're going to, something happens. People are still going to be loyal to your brand unless something absolutely devastating happens, or catastrophic, actually, and in this case, these are just blips on the radar. So, don't fall for that sort of stuff as a business. Again, I mean, it's like, it's going to be this is going to be a speed bump, I think. The Facebook side of things, they're restricting access to things. So what, I will say this, it stinks that a lot of times we want to go, we have our process for our business worked out, like the steps, how things work, like in the case of your live video in groups, and it wasn't done properly, could have been done better. By the way, I did get a messenger bot telling me that they were limiting access to your group, but I got that probably.
Rachel mentioned that. Yeah, Rachel mentioned that they were going to send out a bot, and I never got it. And that was probably
only if you've opted into ever getting a message, though, from BeLive.
I have.
Right. So, well, then that's just a crappy fail, right? So that sucks.
But as a business, you have to take, it's a speed bump. So just be prepared to make your shift. On Facebook, you got to make the shift. On Instagram, same thing. They're limiting access to the calls. So here's what's going to happen. It's going to affect your buffers, your Hootsuites, your Agora Pulses, what other tools? Like pretty much any tool that you were previously using to schedule content to Instagram, you're going to be limited on what you can do there. And it's, like I said,
that's a fairly new feature too, scheduling on Instagram like that. And so it shouldn't be that big of a deal for people then to be limited and then go back to to posting organically manual or live. Mm-hmm. Manual post, however that is, because that scheduling is 3 weeks? 4 weeks maybe?
But isn't it called Instagram and not Schedulegram? I mean, come on. Knock it off, people. Stop scheduling crap. Be live, right? Be live. Not that this is a total plug, right? But really, be on the platform for that. Stop scheduling your stuff. and people whining about, again, Twitter's terms and services are up in arms. Oh my gosh, I can't schedule one of the 7 blog posts that I posted 17 years ago to go for 100th time. I didn't like it the first 99 times you posted it. Don't post it again. I don't care. It wasn't good. Just knock that off, right? So that's the thing. I think people are up in arms. Create better content, create more better content. And if you don't like it, hire somebody to do it or get out of business. Sorry.
Well, it's funny that I have friends on Twitter and whatnot who are very much in this camp of don't schedule anything. And then I go, I schedule stuff. What I schedule is content that I want to share. And trust me, it's not my blog post for the 100th time, but it's definitely articles and other things that I think my community is going to be interested in. But my engagement and my conversation is still in real time. I can't, you can't fake that.
Well, it's all about not fire hosing, right? I'm with you, Ann, right? Like if I read 10 good articles, I'm not going to slam them all out at you like I used to do on Twitter, right? Every 3 minutes. Hey, read 10 articles from Phil, right? No, that's stupid.
And all of a sudden you see your feed and there's Phil and I'm going, oh, Phil must have just done a lot of reading.
Yeah. It's like, shut up, Phil, right? So that's the thing. I get that, right? And that's okay. But what I'm worried about and annoyed with is the whole, I've written 12 articles on my blog and now I'm upset because I can't use, retweet old posts to just keep scheduling crap, right? That's what annoys me. Oh, I can't do it. Good. I don't want to see it. I didn't like it the first time. I don't like it this time. Stop.
I will share, because I handle my clients' social media and I check and see which blog posts have been popular and read the most. So I'll share those again, but I won't retweet the exact same thing. I'll change the verbiage or the wording and then share the link and whatnot. But again, it's not every single blog post. It's just the ones that have found the most interest or have had the most reads or the most shares. Analytics. Imagine that. Checking your analytics.
And by the way, that's a great point. I want to highlight some of the people that are watching here. So we have Joey Vitale here. Joey was a previous guest and great person, runs a really great group. So Joey says, hey, great here. Actually, instead of reading this one, I'll just bring it up for you. So he says, great point. Figure out what your top posts are and feel free to schedule your top hits at a stomachable pace. And that makes a lot of sense. Part of it is, do what?
I said, I like that stomachable pace.
And, part of it is, Twitter is cracking down on, and I realize we're kind of bouncing around here, but Twitter is cracking down on taking the same post and scheduling it, every hour and that sort of stuff. It's not about volume. It's about the quality of the content that you're sharing. And, as Joey mentioned here, check your analytics. Look at your analytics. And if you've shared a post and it keeps getting 0 engagement, maybe you need to come up with something else, either change your posting time. And then if that doesn't work, and you're still getting zeros, maybe you need to share some different content. It might be old content. It might just not be exciting. Maybe the picture's not very good.
Yes. Value over volume. Yeah. I won't reshare the same blog post in the same day. It'll be weeks or days later. There's no point in sharing it 12 times in the same day.
Absolutely.
Hey, in case you missed it, hold on. In case you missed it, Ann, you didn't like it the first time. I'm going to post it 12 more times so you can not like it 12 more times. Yay! That's what I hate. That bothers me.
And what is your most valuable asset, as a business or just as a person in general? Your most valuable asset is what? Time. And, and if you're posting the same thing, a ton of times across a day, too much, first of all. But you can't get that time back and you could use it to do other things. In this case, Lisa said, hey, she creates most of her content on desktop and posts it immediately and never schedule. There are going to be times when you need to schedule if you're going to be, completely out of pocket. For instance, you're going to be at an event, you're going to be at a place that has really poor Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. But again, just be selective about what you're doing. Like if I'm at an event, maybe if you're giving a presentation, give some content out that ties into that presentation, because that makes a lot of sense. I'm giving a presentation. I'm going to talk about giving a presentation. People are going to go check out, for instance, my social media channel while they are watching, watching the presentation. hey, maybe they'll come up with like, hey, that's a really good article. It ties into what I'm doing right now versus, hey, here's a whole bunch of random stuff that's going out.
That's a great tip. Great tip, Christian. Absolutely.
So that's the Facebook side, the Instagram side. The bottom line, as a business, just to wrap this up, nice little bow for everybody. Just be open to a little bit of change. Small speed bump in the road right now. As a business, I know you don't have a lot of time. And by the way, Lisa says I'm talking about Instagram. She believes Instagram should be more in the moment, and absolutely, that's the whole point of why they made Instagram to begin with, posting from a mobile device. And Joey, he also says, by the way, he says he uses a tool called CoSchedule, also a very good tool with a requeuing feature. Agorapulse says this as well. Most of the tools are starting to do this for evergreen content. So you put your best content in there and requeue it if it is obviously getting engagement. So just roll with the changes, basically.
Right. And like you said, Christian, it's a speed bump, right? Businesses shouldn't be think it's the end of the world. They should make some changes, pivot where they need to, course correct, whatever that is. But social media as a whole is always going to have changes. I always joke that it's like the weather. Just wait a few minutes and it's gone. It's changed. It's like the Houston weather, actually. 2 minutes later, it's 95 degrees when it was just 70 earlier. So social media is a lot like that. And then marketing as a whole too. There's going to be changes. And if you are a business owner or you are in business, you have to be flexible and be able to go with it and roll with the punches.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Phil, you want to add something, Phil?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is, Christian, is this the time that we talk about our Facebook ad course that's available for just $197 down, $97 a month for all the changes that you're afraid of? Because, we can cut Anna in a little bit. If she'll tweet this too, we could make some money. What do you think?
Hey, wait, I have a 4-week course that tells you how to do all this.
Well, ours is only 3, and it's even cheaper than yours is. Whatever your price is, we're $10 less. I just want you to know. No, but so don't fall for this stuff. I mean, ultimately, that's my big message here, right? I joke about that, but seriously, if you hear this and you're like, oh, crap, what do I do? Take a deep breath. Think about your strategy. Think about your message and understand, though the tool may change a little bit, your strategy and your customers have not. So focus there and calm the F down because this is not that big a deal. I promise. And anybody who's doing this is selling snake oil if they're charging you up about this latest change. And, Christian, we could call them out. We could probably tag them in the comments, right, on some of these people who are doing this. Right. So if you're seeing this course and you hear people are now the new algorithm has changed, create good content, listen to your customers and be relevant, you can still win. I don't give a crap what changes.
Absolutely.
Those 3 points that you brought up has never changed about it, regardless of what algorithm changed, regardless of what restrictions that they have placed on APIs or anything else. It's always still about good content that your audience or your community wants to see or read, and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Hey, and Joey wants to know, Christian, do you think Facebook is going to eat Instagram? Right, I see that article and that question, and my answer is heck no. I think they're going to be separate because people still don't understand that Facebook and Instagram are the same. So as long as people are stupid, they're going to keep them separate.
I will say so. So at one point, and this is something, Joey, I think on previous shows, like I talked about this so much. Like I think that I sort of feel at some point like there's a lot of overlap with Facebook and Instagram and eventually WhatsApp. But again, it also is about picking a platform to where your users are at. They're pulling in some features from Instagram, but they're not pulling in everything. They're trying to keep that secret sauce, that Instagram has, that keeps people going there, which I think from an Instagram perspective, I think it's the fact that it's mobile based, where your real estate is very limited versus being on a desktop and you're like, so many SOS, like shiny object syndrome. Like, do I go to check this content out? Oh, I got a message. I got a notification. Oh, hold on. What was it I came here to do? So I think that at some point, I think if Facebook's smart, they don't, they keep it separate. And what do you think?
I agree with you. I think they will keep it separate because it is, while there are similar features, one has, availability on desktop and mobile, and Instagram has always been mobile only. And it's a very visual content platform as well. And it does well for a lot of different types of businesses. Like, for example, my B2B clients, I don't really recommend Instagram. Just really depends. But because the content doesn't resonate with their community. So why would I tell them to be on Instagram just because it's there? And Facebook is a different community as well. While they both are one and the same, as Phil keeps saying, I think that there's still two different, very different groups there. So it's got to be kept separate. Otherwise, Facebook is going to lose out.
Absolutely. So just a quick point, and interesting, at one point, Facebook tried to do, and you'll notice on some of their websites that they'll have the Facebook family at the bottom, which will list, Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and anything else they're doing. So they're doing an okay job, I think, at kind of demonstrating that. But I kind of think they just need to change those taglines and say, hey, you know what? This is a Facebook branded company or something to make people kind of understand that, I think, a little bit better.
That it's a bit, yeah. And I agree with you on that. And it cracks me up when I see people automatically cross post from Instagram onto Facebook. One, I hate cross posting because it just doesn't make sense, right? You've got all these hashtags and then you can't tag the correct people, but then you'll see that same content for those who don't understand, and you'll see it again as a Facebook post. So it's kind of funny. And I have a 3-week course for that too, guys.
This is $297. It's ANAllTheTimeEveryday.com. Pick that up. That's ANH. Yeah, no, please no. Right.
And by the way, just one other question from Joey here. One of the best pieces of advice I got about Instagram, not that he's a pro by any stretch, is that Instagram is a place to show off the human side of your brand and for people to follow you versus what you sell. And and I 100% agree with that. Although I gotta move up in the camera here so we can keep our faces here. By the way, a couple more lines and your comment will totally take over the entire screen. That's pretty cool. Completely
agree on that one, Joey.
Yeah, great points. So let's move on to the next topic. What do we have next, Phil? I know we talked about, we did LinkedIn, we did the whole Facebook
of tools, I think, left that you wanted to talk about.
I think we should probably pop over to the tools, Christian. We got 5 minutes left. I think if we get into tools, we can really kick some butt.
Okay, let's do this. So the first tool is an iOS app. It's called Videohance. We like to bring up tools and things to help you as a business that are also relevant to the content you're learning about. For starters, Videohance. We talked about video today a lot. We talked about specifically on LinkedIn. And, this tool is an app for helping you create video on your mobile device. If you're an iOS user, you have iMovie, for instance, built in. You have the Apple Clips app. They do, they give you some, the video editing is good. But Videohance will let you actually add a lot more to it. Phil, have you used this one before?
So, well, it's $4, man. That's kind of breaking my budget here. I spent that on wine tonight, so I haven't used the tool yet. But I'll tell you, right? It does look great. It fits my age demographic of 4 years old or greater, which I really like. So that's about how old I am. I'm impressed by that. And then 100+ features, which I think is cool. Again, I think video, anything you can do to do more than just, hi, this is Walter Cronkite with the news, I think is a good move. So absolutely, you should try it. For $4, if you use it twice and you get, one piece of business off it for $3.99. And come on, folks, right? So give it a shot. My answer to that is take some time, right? Spend a week or a month, just use Videohance. For $4, it's going to be worth your time. I mean, some of the presets are really, really slick. So it can make things move a little better. Now, will Apple crush this in 9 months? Yeah, probably. Right? Let's just be honest. I mean, I saw a feature tonight that Apple just released in the photos piece that is just killer. But that being said, for $4, if I get one piece of business off it, Yahoo, I invested my money well. I don't know.
And you can also do your controls on colors, by the way. That's another thing, color correction. So say you take, say you're in a place that has really poor lighting, or, say there's a like there's blue or red lighting, it just casts your video, in not the best hue. In this case, you can adjust your video with some color correction. Typically, you have to use some tools on your desktop to do this. So you can do it from mobile. As you mentioned, you've got camera motion. You can edit clips. You can add, overlay things on top. Another thing, this is very useful for. We talked about like LinkedIn. Like you want to stand out from other people, and by using these, here's the thing: everybody's going to go to the same apps that they're using for instance, video, and everybody's content is going to start to look the same. Like I do notice that BeLive, for instance, I noticed that hey, everybody that does BeLive, I don't even have to know that you're using BeLive. I look at it, I'm like, that's BeLive. And so it's the same thing with with mobile apps, with in this case video. You make the video your own. You add a certain color, a certain flair to it that makes it stand out from the competition. So, Ann, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was pretty cool. I had not heard about it, and I'm always on the lookout for new apps to highlight, both on mobile chat and on Appy Hour if I can get Appy Hour back in my group. But I thought it was really cool. I haven't downloaded it yet either because I just pulled it up tonight right before we came on. And it's funny that it's only for iOS. So do you think that they'll come out with an Android version, or is this just something to compete with what Apple's doing?
I've been using Videohance for a while. And I have to say, I think that a lot of companies, they've released the iOS version first because there's greater market share there. You have, iPhone, the latest iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, like you've got all these, devices already there. People are going to go buy them versus, not to knock Android. I've always been an Apple user, but, people who use the iOS device side, they're typically, they're more plugged in, I think, to the App Store versus, an Android user. They're going to typically, they'll use what's there, but, they might be more of the like techie side. Necessarily, and so they might not necessarily the apps. I think like you have better quality apps. I think on iOS, or maybe they're presented a little bit better.
No, I agree with you that there are better quality apps on iOS because Apple has a stricter process and guideline for developers to apply and then for the apps to be approved. I think on the Google Store, again, not to knock Android or anything like that, it just seems like, hey, here's an app, you can put it on the Google Store. There's not this stringent process that they have to go through.
Yeah. So in that sense, I mean, I think that at some point you'll probably see an app come out for Android. And by the way, if you don't see one, here's what you can do. Reach out to Videohance on some of their social media channels. Just offer them a suggestion. Hey, I'm a big Android user. I really wish you guys would make an Android version. Sometimes they'll actually say, hey, you know what? It's in the pipeline. We're just waiting for approval or something. So, just keep that in mind. But my recommendation, Videohance, for creating video.
I'm gonna definitely download it and try it out for sure. So it looks cool.
And for $4, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things that
nothing.
It's not. It's some of these apps will be ones where like, hey, I'm going to get clients out of this, but other times it's how can I make it easier for myself to create content that stands out, differently compared to other businesses, so it doesn't look all the same.
Which will get you business. Which will get you business, right? Be different. Holy crap, right? Do $4 differently. $4. Spend your money.
Yep. So the second one, second tool for the week is called Knowem, and I'm gonna actually let you introduce this one. Does that sound good, Phil?
Yeah, please do. So I love this tool. I recommend this tool to all of my clients because here's what happens. They have this great idea about a name for their business. And then it's taken frickin' everywhere. So I want to be Phil.com. Well, guess what? Phil is taken on Twitter. Phil is taken on Facebook. It's taken on Blogger. It's taken on Flickr. I mean, come on. So what I can do with Knowem is I can put in what I'm thinking about for my username and see if the big ones are available for free. And if it's really important, I totally recommend spending the money and going deeper because you could build several hundred good platforms where you could talk to people for just a few dollars. So definitely check out Knowem. It's just so simple. You put in the name you want and you see if it's taken. So if you're Phil Gerbishak, hey, guess what? I'm the only one. But if you're Scott Smith, you probably got other choices. So I think Knowem's worth it.
That's a really neat tool. I looked it up and I'm like, oh, how did I not find out about this tool before? Because you're right. Many of my clients will think of a name for a new product or whatever, and we're sitting there going, okay, that username is used, that one's used. And it's funny that you mentioned, because on Twitter, I'm Auntie Nguyen, and that's I did the search on that, and it was not available in very many platforms, because Anh Nguyen in the Vietnamese culture is literally like Ann Smith. So I was very fortunate to have gotten it on Twitter ages ago, and didn't even think about making sure that I had it on the other platforms. And so on the other platforms, I'm not. But for just giggles, I checked the domain name a few years ago to see if Auntie Nguyen was available, and it was, and I bought it into perpetuity. So there you go, so that I could have my domain name the same.
Awesome.
And I look at this. So here's the thing. I look at this particular tool, Knowem, as a time value of money thing. So, for like, let's just go through like the costs here. So for example, it's $85 for personal essential package. That gives you, complete sign up of all profiles, info, photos, bios, URL, and description on the top 25 most essential and popular social media websites for personal branding. Now, $85. So let's put this into perspective here. Now, if I want to go, let's say I have this great idea and I'm like, okay, let me check if that's available on Facebook. I have to go to my Facebook page, find how to edit my page, find where to change the URL, or, I could try going directly to the URL and, hey, it's not available. So that's like some wasted time. I'll say, hey, I want Twitter. Let me go over to Twitter. Same process. I go to Pinterest. I go to YouTube. I go to LinkedIn. I keep going, I go to the website domain. At some point, I definitely spent more than $85 of my time to be able to like do this. It does all this stuff for you. You can get to their business package that gives you access to even more options. And then you get to their corporate starter package, which is like $350. But you have to look at the amount of time you're going to save. If you're creating multiple companies, maybe you want to go with the bigger package and do it all at once. It's a pain. I'll be honest. It's a pain to sit down and set up a bio for every social media channel because, you want to you have different limitations. You want them to look the same, and that sort of stuff. And so this tool could definitely save you a ton of time. That's the bottom line.
I think so too. It's definitely worth it if because time is valuable.
I wish, granted, like the website doesn't look, it looks kind of cartoonish sort of, but you also have, but look at what it does. It saves you time as a business. You can even search the USPTO trademark database. How cool is that? Because, hey, if you're coming up with a business, you can't just you can pick a name and say, hey, I'm going to call my business this. But if somebody already has it trademarked and you're in the same space, they can just file, a trademark in that case of cease and desist, basically. And at that point, they can take over, that, or they can basically prevent you from doing all of that, legwork, obviously, to get the business up and running. And as I mentioned, it saves you a lot of time because you don't have to deal with somebody coming back to you saying, hey, this isn't, you can't use this because you just wasted your time otherwise. So those are the two tools for the week. And if you haven't claimed your business on all your social media channels, that's, just because you haven't, you're not planning to use, for instance, Snapchat, or you're not planning to use Pinterest, for example, doesn't mean you shouldn't claim those areas for your business now.
Absolutely.
Stake your stick in the sand.
Stake your claim now.
Yeah, buddy.
So, Ann, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I love all the pacing we got going on here, just the amazing information, the topics. So thank you so much for being on tonight. What's the best place for people to connect with you?
Thank you for having me. I really, really enjoyed it. And Phil, you're hilarious, and you always are, my friend. So I'm sitting here going, I wonder if Christian is thanking me or not going to thank me for introducing him to Phil.
He curses me every week after the show. So yeah.
I'm teasing. But the best place to connect with me is on Twitter. Auntie Nguyen at ANHTNGUYEN. I am on there pretty regularly throughout the day, and I love the conversation back and forth on Twitter. You can also find me on LinkedIn. There's a bazillion Anh Nguyen's, and so the username at the end for the URL on LinkedIn is ANN170, ANHN170, because I couldn't get Auntie Nguyen on LinkedIn because I didn't have Knowem back then. And then on Facebook, I'm under Auntie Nguyen Amplified Marketing.
Very good.
I'm on
Very
Instagram and Snapchat as well. So, but those are different platforms that use often.
As I said, drop the link to your Twitter account in the comments if you want to go in and drop your other links as well. That would be perfect. That way everybody can, that way everybody can connect with you where the right channel is that they want to be.
Absolutely. So. Thank you so much for having me on, guys. It's been a really fun hour, and I've loved the conversation. Really, really enjoyed it. So I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you so much for spending the evening with us. We appreciate it. Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye. So with that, I'm going to wrap up Social Chatter for the week. Episode 133 is in the books. We will have a blog post recap going out tomorrow. It's Friday for me, Thursday for you all, but we'll have a blog post recap going out. I also want to just give you a heads up. Next week, we're going to have Jeff Bulis on for the show. Yes. Had a chance to actually meet up with him this week for about an hour. Just great individual, very insightful as well. He's been in the social game a good bit. And so we're going to have him on as well. So, and thank you so much for joining this week. And I hope to see everybody else next week on Social Chatter. Thanks a lot. Bye, guys.
Bye.